I was like fringe 805 PR level, I would say. I would like make top 8 at like some little local tournament and feel good about that, but no real deep runs. But I played Marth at the time, and I was just tilted at Sheik. My good friend Jake DeFibo, shout out to him, the D, he told me that Ice Climbers have a good Sheik matchup, and I grinded out wobbling that night, got it first try, and the rest is history. I didn't have the drive that I do with Ice Climbers in terms of improving with Marth at the time, at least. Basically, my first tournament maining the character, I got second at an 805 local. It was at some church, and I wasn't really taking Melee too seriously at the time, but after that tournament, I realized, like, look, I can do this. Like, in region, like every tournament here is winnable, like with this new switch. Everyone acknowledges that you can get through low to mid level fairly quickly with Ice Climbers. That's pretty much the basis around the whole wobble hate thing, right? And I mean, deep down, I understand that hate. I'm not like saying that I don't understand it at all, because obviously the act of the wobble is not hype, right? But even though I had that hate on my back, the momentum I was gaining in terms of results with Ice Climbers basically kept me in line to keep improving. I just always saw that potential of getting to the next level, and just knowing that every one of my matches, even against those top players, even against the Peaches, the Foxes that fucked me up, like they were all winnable eventually. And I just always had that in mind, and it kept me grinding. Even though, you know, I would get run down and it would look hopeless or whatever, I could still see those niche neutral situations that, granted, if I did something different, like that could have been a stock. So a big thing that separates me from, you know, Chew, DizKid, Nintendude is, and I'm not saying that they don't do this, but I have spent a lot of time, you know, mapping out the spawn points and using my invincibility to get that grab on the platform or force them into the corner, and already have that mental note of what they do to get out of it. That use of invincibility, just consciously applying that and being able to regain that momentum after losing a stock is one of the best parts of my game. That right there helps me always stay in it, and basically, even though I may be down, like I can count on that invincibility to, you know, either even it back up or force them to make a play. I think basically a lot of Ice Climbers would default to, you know, ice block, blizzard walling, and completely playing defensive. And I think even when I have that lead, even when I could ice block camp, and obviously I do that like in the matchups I need to, but generally I'll use my wave dash spacing. So I like to mix up between perfect wave dashes. I have notches, shout out to Nez Mod God. But I really like to mix up perfect wave dash and different wave dash lengths to space myself in spots that other Ice Climbers wouldn't mix up their movement. So I think that gets me a lot of my neutral exchange wins that basically most other Ice Climbers or even wave dash characters would, you know, have that predictable wave dash spacing. It definitely was rough for me at first, you know, to feel super stoked about that win, go back home, watch the VOD, and then see that chat of just all that hate. I did struggle with that, you know, in my come up. I, for a period of time, just didn't read Twitch chat, just didn't want to see it. I just had this whole mentality of I'm gonna improve in game, and I'm gonna ignore that by not putting myself out there and not growing the exposure on me as a player in terms of Twitter, Twitch, and just people knowing me. I just had a fear of, I want to say, rejection from the community because of that general perception on wobbling, or what I thought was the general perception. But I think, you know, that was a wrong way to look at it, like, entirely. Oh, 100% I've made fans out of enemies because it's basically kind of an inside joke in 805 that people hate losing to me until I beat someone better than them. Everyone says that, and it's so true. I don't know why that is, but, you know, I'm glad that they can get past that initial, you know, yeah. They definitely do discredit Ice Climber wins more so than almost any other character, I would say. I do think that's super unfortunate. I don't think it's true in the slightest. I mean, in order to win neutral against players of that caliber, it obviously takes more than just spamming that Z button. So I don't think it's true at all. 100%, I do think Puff is one of my best matchups personally. On the flip side, I think it's one of Ice Climber's worst matchups, actually. I've identified what I need to do in the matchup. Just recognize that the first stock of every match of Icy's Puff basically dictates the game. To just put it generally, like, if Ice Climbers get the first stock, they can stay on the ground, not have to worry about her, you know, just jumping around the platforms and timing you out, essentially. And then obviously if Puff has the lead, Ice Climbers have to go up there. So because there's so much of a neutral disadvantage given who has the lead, it basically comes down to, did like the Icies get the wobble for stock? Yes. Then if they know how to milk that, it's fairly easy from there for me. But on the flip side, I think if Puff has a lead, the matchup's literally unwinnable. Everyone there, I'm gonna go in confident against. That's always been something I've done, just always believing that, you know, I could take it no matter who it is. Not taking this Smash celebrity status into account, not being nervous to play against them just because they're a big name. I think because of that, I've realized how stupid it is to bring unnecessary nerves in game, you know, due to their community presence, you know. We do have a controller giveaway going on right now to like promote me for Summit. Nez Mod God and I are giving away a Starlight Gold GameCube controller with any notches or modifications that the winner wants. First thing you have to do is follow Nez Mod God on Twitter. 10 votes for me for Summit is 1 entry into the giveaway. Any 10 you put on top of that is an additional entry. Basically, someone could enter like 10 times if they wanted to, theoretically. Post a picture verifying your votes on the original Twitter post. We'll have a link down below. Then lastly, you have to retweet the tweet. And then you're officially in, and we're picking the winner as soon as, you know, the voting's over. So, I mean, I just want to thank, you know, everyone who's voted for me, nominated me on Twitter, just, you know, showed me any sort of love for Summit whatsoever, because, you know, all of it has really just transformed the way I think about putting myself, my personality out there. And, you know, I can't thank you guys enough for that. So seriously, thank you for all the support.
That's a wrap.
Boom.
Get the fuck out of my house.